Welcome to the Royal Heritage, your premier destination for captivating and educational content on world royalty's rich history and heritage. Delve into the fascinating world of history, kings, queens and dynasties as we uncover the stories behind majestic palaces, legendary monarchs and enduring traditions. It was a land of mist and mountains, of lochs so deep they seemed bottomless, and of wild heather stretching endlessly across the hills. The wind howled through the valleys, carrying the echoes of voices long silenced by time, voices of warriors, kings, and common folk who had fought, lived and died for the soul of Scotland. Scotland was never an easy land to rule. It was not a place for the weak-hearted or those who wished for comfort. Its people were shaped by hardship and hardship alone. Every child born into this land inherited a legacy of struggle and survival, a history written in blood and stone. And yet, despite centuries of conflict, Scotland endured. Its spirit remained unbroken. We step back in time to uncover the story of Scotland's independence and influence. This is a story of battles and betrayals, of rulers who dreamed of glory and warriors who stood their ground against overwhelming odds. But above all, it's a story of resilience, a tale of how a nation, small in size but vast in spirit, forged its own path through history. Let's delve deep, but before then, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel, like, share, and stay updated on all our latest videos. Scotland's story did not begin with kings and queens. It began in the shadows of time, where clans roamed the rugged terrain, carving out lives among the mountains and rivers. These early Scots were not one people but many. Tribes of Celts, Picts, Gaels, and Norse settlers, each bringing their own customs, languages, and ways of life. The land itself shaped them. Unlike the fertile plains of England or the rolling fields of France, Scotland was a place of extremes. Harsh winters forced its people to be self-reliant, to build strong communities where every hand was needed for survival. The land taught them patience, endurance, and an unyielding will to resist oppression. The Picts, one of Scotland's earliest known peoples, left behind mysterious stone carvings, symbols of a forgotten language that still baffles historians today. They fought fiercely against invaders, including the mighty Roman Empire which sought to conquer them. The Romans, despite their vast resources, could not break the Picts. Instead, they built Hadrian's Wall, a massive fortification stretching across northern Britain, in a desperate attempt to keep these wild warriors at bay. But the Picts were only the beginning. Over the centuries, Scotland would see waves of newcomers, Vikings, Angles, and Normans, all trying to stake their claim on its lands. Yet no matter who arrived, Scotland remained untamed. Its people adapted, absorbed new influences and became stronger. Scotland's clans were fiercely independent, but unity was needed to face external threats. Out of this necessity, a kingdom was born. The early kings of Scotland, such as Kenneth MacAlpin, sought to unite the warring tribes under one rule. But unity did not come easily. For centuries, Scotland was caught in a struggle with its powerful southern neighbour, England. The English kings saw Scotland as a land to be conquered, while the Scots saw England as a threat to their way of life. This tension erupted into war more times than history can count, but no conflict was more defining than the wars of Scottish independence. At the heart of these wars stood figures who would become legends: William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. Wallace, a man of unknown birth, rose from the shadows to lead a rebellion against the English. His name became a rallying cry for freedom, and his courage inspired thousands. His fate, however, was grim, captured, tortured, and executed by the English. Yet his legacy did not die with him. Robert the Bruce took up the mantle of Scotland's struggle. He was a man of both noble birth and great ambition. He fought not just with swords, but with strategy, using the land itself as his greatest weapon. His defining moment came at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, where he led his outnumbered forces to a stunning victory against the English army. It was a battle that proved Scotland's right to exist as an independent nation. But the victory was never permanent. Scotland's independence was constantly under threat, forcing its people to remain vigilant and ready to defend their land at any moment. To understand Scotland, one must understand the clans. Clans were more than families. They were societies in themselves. Each clan had a chief, a leader who commanded loyalty and respect. These were not just men of power, but protectors of their people. Life in the Highlands was difficult. The land was beautiful but unforgiving. The people of the Highlands, hardy and independent, relied on their kin for survival. Clans provided security, justice, and identity in a world where outside rule meant little. Their loyalty was first and foremost to their own, and that bond was stronger than any written law. However, the clans' power also made them dangerous to rulers who sought to unite Scotland under a single authority. For centuries, the Scottish crown struggled to control the Highlands. Clans waged feuds against each other, and kings often found themselves forced to choose between siding with one faction or another. This tension reached its peak with the Jacobite risings of the 18th century. The Highland clans, many of them loyal to the exiled Stuart kings, rose against the British government in a final bid to restore a Scottish monarch to the throne. Their last stand at Culloden in 1746 was a tragic defeat. The battle ended in bloodshed, and in its aftermath the British government sought to crush Highland culture. The wearing of tartan was banned, the speaking of Gaelic was discouraged, and the power of the clans was systematically dismantled. But Scotland's spirit was not so easily broken. Even as the old ways faded, a new Scotland emerged, one that would find influence differently. Though Scotland's independence was challenged, its influence grew far beyond its borders. Scots became pioneers, inventors, and leaders in fields that shaped the modern world. From the Industrial Revolution to the Age of Enlightenment, Scottish minds led the way. Figures such as James Watt, the inventor of the steam engine, and Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, left an indelible mark on history. Scottish explorers travelled to the far corners of the world, leaving their influence in places as distant as Canada, Australia, and America. Despite hardship, Scotland continued to produce leaders, thinkers, and warriors. Its people never lost their sense of identity, their pride in their heritage, or their determination to stand tall in the face of adversity. Scotland's story is one of perseverance. It is the story of a land that refused to be conquered, of people who valued their freedom above all else. Though battles were lost and hardships endured, the Scottish spirit remained unshaken. Even today, the echoes of the past can be heard in the hills, in the ruins of castles, and in the traditions that survive. Scotland's story is our story, a tale of independence, resilience, and the unbreakable will of a people who never gave up. Let us carry forward the lessons of history, remembering that strength is not just in power, but in fortitude. Let us embrace the spirit of Scotland, standing firm in our beliefs and never forgetting that true influence comes from the ability to endure, to adapt, and to inspire those who come after us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more history content, so you won't miss the next chapter of this incredible story.